Moving on to Cameroon, our next door neighbor. It wasn't long ago that I talked about how President Paul Biya was disgraced in France, remember? Well, now I'm hearing that next month, February, there would be a huge conference with politicians, religious leaders, and civil society leaders. All of them will gather in Garoua to address the repatriation of the body of the former president, that is President Amadou Ahidjo, the man who handed power over to Paul Biya. Yep. Now, for those of you who did not know, Cameroon has only had 2 presidents since independence in 1960, just 2. So this is the first president, Amadou Ahidjo. He was in power for 22 years. 22! No, seriously, I need to start praying for Cameroon because it looks like everybody that comes to power wants to be there for decades. I don't understand what is going on. That is a lot of years, y'all, 22. But despite that, the country was actually faring well under Ahidjo. If you compare his tenure to that of Biya, they are like night and day. The economy of Cameroon was booming at that time. The country was united. He successfully persuaded part of British Cameroon to join the country, and it was during his tenure that a lot of the modern infrastructures in Cameroon were built. But having said that, his own list of wrongdoings is very long as well, including getting rid of political adversaries via assassinations. No matter where they were at that time, that man made sure that nobody could stand against him, as well as establishing complete dominance of his own party and outlawing all others by 1976. And no people talk more, but a lot of Cameroonians actually believe that he only handed over to Biya, believing that he could control Biya, not knowing that Biya had his own agenda. You get what I'm saying, eh? Biya had his own agenda to take over completely, but he thought that he could control Biya, eh? Also, there are speculations that he was the one behind the violent but unsuccessful coup attempt in April of 1984, when Biya was already president. So yeah, he has his own list of wrongdoings. He was a dictator during his time. Now it's been almost 25 years that he died in Senegal. You know that Biya sentenced him to death in absentia, and then later he changed it to life imprisonment in absentia. So he never came back to Cameroon when he fled to Senegal. But what I don't understand, okay, is why Biya doesn't want his corpse brought back to Cameroon. Seriously, dude, the man is dead. He's dead. Biya, what else can he do? I mean, I learned that a lot of Cameroonians would want to have a state burial for Ahidjo, you know, being the first head of state for the country, the very first one after independence. They believe that he deserves a state burial as a president who actually developed Cameroon. But he looks like Paul Biya is afraid of seeing a ghost. I don't know what he's afraid of. He's afraid of seeing this man get a state burial. You know that Biya already removed every sign of the former president that you can find in Cameroon. It's like he doesn't want Cameroonians to even remember that they had a president before him. He seems to be blind to the fact that his tenure is actually worse in all ways compared to that of Ahidjo. Can I remind you, Mr. Biya, that today is all you know? Like seriously, you never know what would happen tomorrow. Because when Ahidjo was in power, he never thought that he would die in exile. He never thought about that. But he did. He died in exile, right? As a matter of fact, a lot of African dictators end up dying in exile. Maybe it's not good to be a dictator after all. Remember that Idi Amin of Uganda died in Saudi Arabia. Siad Barre, that Somalian dictator, remember him? He died in Nigeria. As well as Mobutu Sese Seko, yes, of the Democratic Republic of Congo. He died in Morocco. They all died outside somewhere, including Meles Zenawi, the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia. You know that he died in Belgium. Maybe it's not good to be a dictator. I'm not saying anything, I beg. I'm just saying that Biya should remember that today is all that you know. If you don't give the man state burial now, another president will come and give him state burial. Just because you're the one in power right now doesn't mean that things cannot change. But you guys know that me, I don't know anything. I beg, I don't know anything. I'm just keeping it real.